Chat, we all have seen the last couple days. I ended up not making a follow-up because I think everyone's already talked about it, but there was the whole Twitchcon thing with Emiru. She made a video responding to it. A bunch of people have already watched it. I watched a little bit of off-stream, actually. I didn't want to do an on-stream one because I was just curious at night when it came out because I missed it during the day. But I've been watching all over the place the last couple days. Twitchcon just ended. And obviously that's the big story of Twitchcon. But there's so many smaller disasters that were also going on with it that kind of just made me go, why does this event still even exist? And before I get into that, I thought there was one thing that I thought was kind of important to go over first, which is a small clip of an interview that the CEO of Twitch was doing during TwitchCon. And Emmy already talked a little bit about, like, there was like some partying like the night after, stuff like that. I watched this actually off stream and I was like, what? How could you say that? So I'm gonna let you guys watch it, and I'm gonna cut in on a couple parts, but this is the CEO of Twitch talking about the incident.
And others. Obviously, we saw one Twitch streamer yesterday, Emiru, get assaulted by a male fan, and a lot of streamers have, especially female streamers, have talked about, you know, the danger that they feel from these sort of toxic, I guess, parasocial kind of creeps. What are you guys doing to prioritize safety? Because I know also a bunch of Twitch content creators said that they were too scared to even come to TwitchCon this year.
And don't forget, just because the internet agrees on something doesn't mean the internet is right. That's one of the biggest lessons you can ever take away going forward with our future of history. Because I remember Cutie and Valkyrie, and I think Pokey, I don't know if Pokey actually said anything. I know Cutie and Valkyrie did. Both said they didn't feel comfortable going, and they got shit on, like hardcore shit on by the whole internet for not wanting to go because they're like, oh, you're making such a big deal about it.
In case something like what happened yesterday would happen.
The safety of our creators is the top priority. The challenge we face is a challenge in today's society. It's not limited to Twitch. It extends throughout our society. I do think that when you're live streaming, in many ways, since you control your community and you can ban people, you can make it so that those people that you don't want engaging with you and participating with you aren't there. Okay, it's very different, you know, when I use other short form content and people. Did
you guys hear that? Listen, that little section right there is the only reason why I wanted to watch this. I watched the whole thing after, but no offense. Listen, I like my job as a streamer. Twitch has given me unbelievable amounts of privilege and unbelievable amounts of opportunity in my life that I probably never would have gotten otherwise. That is the most out of touch, ridiculous statement I've ever heard for 3 big reasons. Number one, you kind of came off like you're victim blaming, and it's at her fault that she cultivated a community like that. That's kind of like incel talk, no offense. Number 2, that's actually not how that works at all. And I can tell you that as a creator who's been streaming for last 4 or 5 years, and as a male creator too. So like, I don't have it as bad sometimes. I'm gonna tell you this, the biggest problems I have ever created for myself or ever had to deal with people, AKA harassment, doxing, whatever it might be, are from former fans that get banned because it doesn't stop them from shit. So saying that you can cultivate the experience by just banning them is unbelievably out of touch, because just banning them doesn't do anything. If anything, it enrages them. I think I've talked about this before. There's people that I know that still exist, like Overwatch especially. I would see it over time, and happened a lot, where some of the loudest people that I have drummed up hate for me or drummed up problems for me are former fans that I banned. And why have I banned them? Racist shit. One that was like being like really sexist to like some girl I was like playing with in a game. Being really weird, and they'd been weird for a very long time, but like they finally crossed the line to the point where we were like, okay, like we can't have this here. That started them on a brigade where like every time like they're in like Twitch chats or Reddits or whatever, they would like make up shit that I never said or never did to try to like get people to like not like me. And those are all former fans, and they still are here. I know they're still here because when I started streaming on YouTube, they came back and we're like here almost day one, and we actually let them chill for a little bit to see if they have changed, and then after a while we ended up banning them. Then I about a few months ago started streaming on TikTok, and guess who was there? multiple of the same names that I've remembered. They all came back. So when I say that, right, I am like a smaller creator in the comparative sense, right? And I'm also a male streamer in the gaming space, not even like drama or like, you know, parasocial Andy spheres, right? You know that banning those people actually enrages them more than anything. It's like the same reason why women, a lot of times, like if they have a stalker or something like that, like you try to go to the police, but like a lot of times they don't do anything. You kind of like, if you ever have to deal with them or like you ever interact with them, you have to like kitty gloves, or like when you're like, oh, like, you know, like you can't do like the hard boundary, like get the away from you, because like, you enrage them. So the same thing happens in live streaming with banning them. So to say that, oh, well, you can curate your community by just banning them is not true. This was a blatant lack of security on all fronts, and to even shift any blame is ridiculous. I'll redo it one more time just for the context of the clip in case you missed it, but I'm gonna keep it moving because this is only the really part of the clip that I really wanted to talk about.
It extends throughout our society. I do think that when you're live streaming, in many ways, since you control your community and you can ban people, you can make it so that those people that you don't want engaging with you and participating with you aren't there, okay? It's very different, you know, when I use other short form content and people say all sorts of stuff, well, I can't stop that. But when I live stream, they basically don't bother me. Now, what happened yesterday obviously was something that we care deeply about.
By the way, I do want to point out really fast, I'm not misconstruing what he's saying. He is correct in what the point he's trying to make, AKA, right? Like people in short form like yap about him, right? And say like, oh my God, like bad CEO, blah, 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 blah. Then when he streams himself, none of them show up. But he like, I haven't really looked at his stream, but like, isn't he like 100 viewer Andy? Very different world than, I mean, that's like 10K plus. You can't do that. And it's like, you can't, like there's a difference between people yapping about you online and actually having it out for you. It is miles apart, and even to insinuate it is crazy.
During this environment, you know, we're looking very closely at everything that happened there, and I care deeply about Emmy. She's a friend of mine, and so I want to see how we can support her. This is just something we have to keep working on. I think everyone identifies our tools in terms of trust and safety as the leaders in the industry about helping creators, but
it is very relevant. You're right.
Work to be done because that's the world we live in now.
Demi had posted earlier today that I guess this fan was allowed to cross multiple barriers at Twitchcon. Why should?
By the way, I'm just gonna point this in right now. Man, it would have been really bad if they had a weapon, right? Like that would have been really terrible.
Streamers trust Twitch to keep them safe at Twitchcon, because I feel like simultaneously this has been such a secure event to the point that even like journalists have had struggled. Like, you know, it is very secure, but here's this man that just walks up and is somehow able to bypass all these things. So why should they trust the platform when slip-ups or, you know, issues like this have happened?
Well, I mean, as you know, I think you toured some of what we do in terms of security. The reality is, even as you do a lot in terms of security in today's world, there are challenges that can present themselves, especially when someone is putting themselves out there, right? And so, you know, we try to work very closely with each creator about what they want to do and what works.
Wait, what? I don't remember this part.
Try to work very closely with each creator about what they want to do and what works for them, right? So I don't want to get into any, you know, specifics or details, but part of...
Wait, didn't they ban her security guard from like a couple of years ago? Like her favorite security guard for doing his job?
That is working with creators and, you know, trying to find them. Right now we're definitely, you know, ramping it up to make sure creators know that we have the resources there to help them figure out what's right for them.
By the way, I'm not going to go too much deeper into the, because like Emmy did a whole video on it. Basically, they were only going to ban the guy for 30 days off of Twitch. No joke. Before like her management team pressed him really hard. Or pressed him really hard to give him a permaban and actually like press charges. Like they weren't going to do anything, which is actually insane. So you remember how I was saying, thank God they didn't have a weapon? I came across this tweet last night, like dead in the middle of the night. I was about to go to bed after playing FNAF. I couldn't sleep. I wanted to wait until TwitchCon is pretty much over. I reported this to Twitch staff mid-block party immediately, but there were souvenir switchblades available for purchase. By the way, I ended up looking at the video. They're not actually switchblades. A switchblade is different, but you'll see in a sec. Or literally grab and walk out with at one of the shops at the block party gas lamp area. It was a whole collection with different names engraved so anybody could reach and grab it at any height. It was towards the back corner of the shop, so you had to walk in and really browse to notice it. The shop itself also had was at the very back corner, so there was barely anyone browsing it. However, when my group all saw this at the same time, we all had the same same concerned look without even saying a word. We noticed these the first hour of the party, so I immediately wanted to leave. Here's the video. I don't know if there's music. I might have to mute it. By the way, not a switchblade. Switchblades are different, but can't bring a weapon in, but you can buy one in the store inside the venue. I gotta be careful of the
Should I leave?
the DMCA.
This is only going to close friends. I'm leaving.
We all know what those are, right? Those are not small either. In an event, in events. Listen, I worked in events, okay? Before I became a streamer, I worked with Overwatch League. And when I worked with Overwatch League, I worked technically out of the Foxborough office under the Patriots Craft umbrella. My direct supervisor was the director of stadium events. I learned so much about how important and how strict a lot of the safety procedures are, especially at major events, clear bag policies, how like if you've ever been to like a football game, like there's multiple things that you see and you don't see. Like you see literal people walking around with like police officers, military walking around with actual rifles. And then there's the people you don't see, which are like up somewhere in the rafters. They do all of that because like, even though they're super strict with like their security, you can't buy shit in the stadium. You can't do that. They have to be super safe. The fact that you could buy a 4 to 6 inch knife inside the venue is crazy. That's actually crazy talk. You know, Twitchcon 2024 was a shit show. Oh, I can imagine. So this is like the little shit I haven't even seen anyone go crazy about yet. Like, hello. Actually, are those legal in California? It is probably illegal. To be fair, buying knives is not illegal. I'm not saying knives should be illegal, but you shouldn't be able to buy large knives inside of a convention center at an event where security obviously has, you know, you're gonna have a no weapons policy. A lot of places you have a no liquid policy or clear bag policy, which I don't think Twitch does actually. So that's not even all. We still got more. Then we have this, which is from Chibi, who I've played with before, and Chibi's a sweetheart. And I just wanted to show you this little thread. I'm gonna back it up a little bit. So, Chibi's tweeted the other day on the 18th, sorry with the wait chat, not having the best experience. Ugh. The staff have been lovely for the most part. Which I think is very interesting because Chibi is like the sweetest person I have met like in a very long time in streaming. For the most part, makes me go, well. But they wouldn't let me enter and told me to walk all the way to the help desk to get permission to enter my meet and greet because their wristband they gave me doesn't work. I also had to show my face and it was very scary for me, but I understand why. So if you don't know anything about VTubing is basically the space where you stream with like a character that is created, like an original character that you design or have designed made for you, and it's animated, so like it's like having your face but not having your face, so you can remain somewhat anonymous online, especially in the live streaming space. It's kind of spooky, and I think in the last couple of years there's actually been a large rise of especially women creators who choose to be VTubers. There's a lot of reasons behind that. It's actually kind of cool because like say 5+ years ago, a lot of people would especially write off like large women streamers saying like they only rose because of their looks or whatever. But like when you're a VTuber, like it's not their looks, right? Like it's a character. They're making it through on their skill, on their performance, on their ability to like entertain chat. And like I think that's kind of awesome. And it also keeps a little bit of anonymity and it allows them to feel somewhat safer. So to have an event like this, not wanting to show their face makes sense because you aren't really comfortable with that, but you still want to show up for your fans, right? I mean, I'm not sure with Chibi's case, of course, but I can tell you as myself as a streamer, I've been invited to TwitchCon many times. I think like 4 times in my 5 years of streaming. My first year I didn't get invited because I was too small, but after that I've been invited almost every single time. I've always turned it down. So like, you know, there's probably a good chance that, you know, she was invited because she's a large content creator and like want to do a meet and greet for her fans. So it gets worse. So going back, she quotes and says, they also cut us short and we didn't get to meet anyone or meet everyone. I'm so sorry. If you see me around the con, please feel free to say hi. And someone responded and said, wait, they cut y'all short? When I asked the staff, they said it was y'all who cut it short. I can't believe they try to shift that onto you. And she responded, what? No? I've always met every person. Last year we stayed for 3 hours. I think the line was too long, and for safety they didn't want us staying. They said, oh, that's sad. A lot of us had to leave because they told us the line was cut because your voice issues, or sorry, your voice ID issues, maybe issues, and that typically they move folks to a different meet and greet area, but due to health conditions, it was just cut off. What? I never told any staff of my voice problems. I didn't even talk to any staff near my booth, only at the entrance. At 3:30, they said the line was cut off and that while most creators typically go to separate meet and greet areas to meet overflow fans, due to the circumstances, we all had to leave. She responded, I don't think that is referring to me being sick. I think they were referring to the really bad stuff that happened yesterday. And then they responded, the stuff that happened yesterday was horrible, but they specifically said that if a creator wanted to meet everyone in the line, they'd move to a separate area. However, all of us were told to leave because you weren't feeling well and they couldn't meet with more people. Jumping back one more. Can anyone else from my meet and greet vouch for this? Nags and I were told to stop. I'm incredibly sad if this is true. I was genuinely so excited to meet everyone. They told us we had to end it for safety. I never told any staff I am sick. I am confused. I showed up and asked if I could wait for Nags before going out. That's the only time staff talked to me in the meet and greet area before telling us to cut the line short. I'm sorry if this is true. Somebody responded, yeah, they straight up told us they were kicking us out because you couldn't talk anymore and we're ending early. We had seen the tweets, so we were like, oh, understandable. But then after the meet and greet, we met up and you said you did, met up and you said what you did and we kind of just question marked. That is a straight up lie. I was feeling better and talking normally. I'm seriously so sorry. So far from this event, we've had someone get assaulted and security did nothing. We've downplayed it. They only wanted to give him a 30-day Twitch ban. Didn't even chase him out of the arena. He was there allowed to stay for hours and like nothing even happened until being pressed later on by a management team of Emmys. There's knives sold in the arena. We kind of low-key insinuated that it's her fault, Emmy's fault, that the community is cultivated that way instead of just quote-unquote banning them. And now we cut off fans early because there's probably a ridiculously long line for especially a super popular streamer like Chibi, and likely didn't want to deal with it. So they just made up some shit saying, oh yeah, she's not feeling great. Sorry. So, by the way, just throwing this out there, as a creator, maybe I'm not a big enough creator streamer, to be fair, but when you get invited to Twitchcon and stuff like that, they don't pay you to go. They don't pay you for your flights. They don't pay you to show up, right? They'll pay you they'll give you a ticket. Like, you don't have to pay for a ticket to get in the door, which is something. But like, if you want to fly there, that's out of pocket. Hotel is out of pocket. Any events you want to do, that's out of pocket, right? I'm sure there's something that people that are getting paid, like if you do like a show, right? Like if you do a show, that's probably like a contracted event with them. But just like Joe showing up for a meet and greet, I mean, I don't know. Chibi's a large streamer. I might not be there. Yeah, FanFan had a show. Actually, FanFan has a clip as well. Do I have the FanFan clip actually here? I grabbed this one late last night. I wasn't able to watch it as well. Let's just watch the FanFan clip really quick. FanFan leaks that Twitch is pressuring her to use the security after major backlash from Emery's sexual assault at TwitchCon.
Speaking of being forced to say whatever, after the whole Emaru thing, Twitch was like, we have to assign security for you all day. And I was like, what? What? So yesterday I got,
did you see the video of someone pretending to marry a Twitch creator? No, I didn't see that.
A personal security guy. And I was like, hey, like, you don't have to stay with me. Isn't that good? I don't want one. I don't want security. If I wanted security, I would have hired security myself. I don't want security. Better to have forced security than a forced.
Well, so security is really expensive. I didn't get to that part of the video, but I think the one Emmy assigned or hired was like 10K for the weekend, something like that.
Interaction with a weirdo. I just don't anticipate weirdos. Also, I feel like I can handle myself. Well, yeah, nobody anticipates it until it happens. It's happened to me before, but I just don't want security. Surely that's my decision.
That is true.
I don't know how you guys are arguing against me. I mean, obviously, all it takes is one weirdo, but
security is very expensive.
I'd honestly rather deal with a weirdo than have security on me the whole day. Okay, even someone who's my friend, I don't want to be forced to stream with a friend next to me if I didn't personally want my friend to be there. You know? Like, I don't like
10K for
like if I'm gonna stream, I want to stream either by myself.
She shouldn't have mentioned not wanting security. Now people know. Should have declined in secret. Yeah, that is actually very interesting. I would definitely be a little bit careful. But if you don't know Fanfan's awesome. Fanfan is like the most open book person I think I've met in years. If a thought pops into her head, it's coming out her mouth instantly, and it's funny as shit. She's sweet. She's actually very sweet. But I agree with you. I would not admit that out loud personally. And I mean, like, there's a lot of good reasons for that. For example, like, you know, if something did happen, it's like, well, we tried to give you security, you disagreed, here's the clip, you know, like, that's, you open yourself up to a lot of risk. She's probably not considering something like that, but it's very interesting that they were scrambling after to do that. And it's like, shouldn't Twitch be already kind of doing that ahead of time a little bit?
Or who I want to stream with. Not even a friend, let alone a security guard hovering. I didn't feel like I could fully be myself. I am kind of strapped. Cutie gave me pepper spray and a rape whistle. Yes, Otto. The security guard had to go
kind of
strapped.
It's hilarious.
Like, if I were to go back to the hotel, like yesterday, I went back to the hotel and then he was.
Small tip though, real talk. Like, if this ever makes it back to Fanfan, like, don't tell people that kind of stuff. Like, don't tell people what you have. Like, the best defense you have is the surprise, because like, we live in America, right? Like, America's a spooky place in some departments of that. You know what I'm talking about? Just let them not know, because it could be anything you got.
Like, he has to stay in the lobby and wait for me.
It could be pocket sand. Yeah, you're right. It could be a handful of sand in your pocket. You know what I mean? Let them never know.
And then if I were to leave and Uber somewhere else, he also has to come with me. And so I told my Twitch partner manager, I was like, listen, I know you guys are trying to help, and I know you guys are, you know, I know the whole Emmy thing happened.
WQT, yeah, Cutie's,
like,
Cutie's awesome.
You know?
I've only interacted with Cutie like twice,
to,
but she was always super nice to me.
So. No offense. Probably shouldn't be saying this with the fucking Twitch Rivals thing right on my screen, but you know what I mean? Like, now you're just overdoing it, and I did not ask for this. Like, they asked me before I came if I needed an escort between my events, and if they needed someone to watch over me during my events, or.
You know, honestly, like, I kind of give them credit though for at least doing it after is better than doing nothing. But like, I feel like a lot of this stuff should be done beforehand. Like, I hate to say it, but in a lot of ways, I would argue that like content creator, influencer type people are almost like more famous now in some ways than like celebrities. I think I mentioned this before when I was doing the other thing. Like, if you're under the age of 25, almost every person under the age of 25, I bet, is either heard of or knows of either Kai Cenat or iShowSpeed. You know what I mean? There's A-list actors that are out there that people don't know that because they just don't watch movies, or they just don't know the names, right? But like, these people are in your face so much every day. They're all over the place. And it's like, you know, there's a chance that like, maybe, I don't know about like someone's fan size, because we're very similar stream size wise. Like, we're close. I don't know if I could say them, but like as like a C-list celebrity or D-list celebrity, like maybe even more, if anything, maybe even more famous because they have more attachment and they have more access to them, you know? And those parasocial relationships that can be formed are spooky.
Like, if I'm walking around the convention and stuff, and all along I was like,
more approachable
no, too. I don't want one. Yeah, exactly. Like, it's not even for me, it's just for PR, and I'm like, I don't want one. Today they asked me again.
Oh yeah.
They recommended I have personal security all day. I rejected. I said, please Do not. I better not see anybody
I better
securing
not
me.
see anyone is crazy.
I better not get anybody protecting me, or I'm gonna get angry.
Fanfan is kind of unhinged, but I always enjoy it. She's funny. But yeah, I don't know. This whole TwitchCon thing has just made me sit here and think even more, like, why does this even still exist? And apparently a lot of people didn't have fun at TwitchCon either. But I kind of want to put that in a different topic here in a sec. But I'll leave it here at the end, because I want to talk about something else too. But it was this tweet that was floating around with 5 million views. And it said, had such a demoralizing interaction with an IRL streamer last night. He seemed genuinely interested in talking to me and he seemed so sweet. And I asked about his stream and hyped him up. And when he said, when I looked at his chat, he panicked, said, don't look. Later, I went to his stream and he was just going up to any girl and they were rating if they would or not. It's just cruel and pathetic. No, I don't see how I was rated. I just hate wasting any time giving positivity while being mocked. Watch out, girls. And I think this is something else I want to talk about with like the IRL streamers at Twitch, but it really did make me think about TwitchCon and just be like, why does it even still exist? You know what I mean? Just feels like a money grab to Twitch at this point. And the days of quote unquote bleed purple are gone. The community of Twitch is gone. Like it's kind of like, it's all over the place, right? Like most big creators are either signed to a platform or are multi-streaming or have genuinely grown past the ability to read chat. Like your speeds, your Kais, hell, like even at like other streams like Queso. Like I like Queso, he's cool, but like he can't read chat like 99.9% of the time. You can't read any of the message. He does read chat though. Like he does pick out chat messages and it's funny. Because you have to sit there and like actually give it attention, right? But like once you get to a certain size of stream, that chat interaction is gone. It's gone. Like you're no longer like a community. You're like straight up, you're the entertainment. You're just like on stage. You know what I mean? You're not like sitting in the crowd talking with everybody and everyone's like at the table. Like you ever been at a table, right? You ever been like the cool person at the table and like everyone's sitting around the table all looking at you while you're talking, like waiting to hear more, right? And then like some people are standing, you know what I'm talking about? Like that's kind of like what streaming was, or for a long time kind of was. And it's like, you know, like you were in the center of attention, but everyone else was still like somewhat had some kind of access to like say something to you. But now it's like you're up on stage, you're doing a performance, you know? And I don't think that being able to just walk around at an event with like tens of thousands of people that all know exactly who you are and have access to you at any time is probably smart for your health, you know? So why go? There's no reason for you to go. If you want to do your own meet and greet, then organize your own, or do it at a different event where it's a part of something else, you know?